Welcome to Episode 6, Evidence, Definitions, Sufficiency, and Traceability. Evidence is the language of accountability in security programs. It is what turns claims into confidence and transforms the abstract language of controls into verifiable practice. Every control, from access reviews to patch management, ultimately depends on proof that the activity occurred, that it met expectations, and that it was performed by the right people at the right time. Without credible evidence, even the most detailed policy remains a promise without a witness. Evidence matters daily because it connects operational behavior to governance decisions. When gathered and maintained correctly, it becomes a reusable asset that reduces audit fatigue, speeds authorizations, and proves maturity. Building on that foundation, defining evidence begins with understanding what it is and what it is not. Evidence is any recorded information that demonstrates a control was implemented and effective. It may be a system log, an approval ticket, a screenshot, or an exported report, but its value lies in reliability and relevance, not format. A single screen capture might suffice to prove a configuration change, while a ticket record might demonstrate process adherence. Evidence must be objective, produced by the system or process itself, not edited to fit an answer. Think of it as the footprint a control naturally leaves behind. The clearer that footprint, the less explanation required later. From there, sufficiency defines whether evidence is strong enough to stand alone and consistent enough to be repeated. Sufficient evidence covers the control's intent, shows actual operation, and is independent of manual storytelling. It must persuade a reasonable reviewer that the control performed as designed. For instance, one access review record per year is not enough if the policy requires quarterly checks. Sufficiency depends on volume, frequency, and authenticity. A useful mindset is to ask, could another assessor reach the same conclusion using this evidence? If the answer is yes, sufficiency is achieved. If not, collection or context must improve before findings become defensible. Connected to sufficiency is traceability, which ensures every piece of evidence can be tracked to its origin, time, and owner. Traceable evidence identifies the source system, the date of generation, and who performed or approved the action. It also shows how the item links to the specific control or parameter it supports. Without these anchors, even genuine records lose weight because they cannot be trusted in sequence. Imagine a firewall log with no timestamp or user reference. It might show activity, but cannot prove control operation. Traceability restores that confidence by letting reviewers follow the thread from policy to performance with no broken links. As data is collected, it helps to categorize evidence by type. Records, exports, and screenshots are the most common. Records come directly from system logs or workflow tools, showing raw events. Exports are structured extracts, like spreadsheets, from authoritative systems. Screenshots capture transient views that cannot easily be exported, such as interface settings. Each has a role. For instance, a screenshot may confirm a configuration, but a record proves it persisted over time. Mature programs prefer system-generated artifacts because they carry metadata automatically, reducing debate about authenticity. Variety strengthens a case, but clarity wins it. To reach that level of clarity, evidence should be designed into processes from the start. Controls that generate natural logs or reports need less manual proof later. When a team builds a new workflow, they should ask how the process will demonstrate itself to auditors without extra effort. For example, adding an approval field to a ticketing system creates automatic evidence of oversight. Designing for evidence saves time, avoids scrambling before assessments, and promotes transparency. It shifts compliance from documentation after the fact to validation as part of doing business, which is both efficient and credible. Once collected, versioning, timestamps, and lineage rules keep evidence trustworthy over time. Each file or record should note when it was created, by whom, and whether it was altered. If an updated version replaces an earlier one, both should retain links showing succession. This lineage prevents confusion about which snapshot applied to which test cycle. Imagine an access review log updated after corrections. Without versioning, an assessor cannot tell whether the change occurred before or after submission. Maintaining these metadata attributes shows that control operation and evidence handling follow the same discipline, reinforcing trust throughout the program. Even well-prepared teams can stumble into common pitfalls when managing evidence. Frequent errors include missing timestamps, screenshots with cropped identifiers, unverified exports from secondary systems, and reliance on personal drives for storage. Another mistake is collecting too much, burying the assessor in irrelevant data that dilutes focus. The cure is curation. Capture only what supports the control's intent and maintain it in organized, secure repositories. Conduct periodic quality checks to confirm that retained evidence is still readable, complete, and aligned with policy. Avoiding these pitfalls turns evidence management from a scramble into a sustainable rhythm. When part of a shared environment, provider inheritance and attestation artifacts add another layer of verification. Many organizations rely on cloud or managed service providers for physical, environmental, or network-level controls. In such cases, evidence often takes the form of provider assurance reports, such as audit certifications or attestation letters. These must be reviewed for scope, timing, and relevance before acceptance. It is not enough to file a report. The system owner must confirm that inherited controls actually cover the systems in question. Treating provider evidence with the same scrutiny as internal data maintains a chain of confidence across shared boundaries. Because evidence often contains sensitive data, handling it responsibly is critical. Logs may include user identifiers, IP addresses, or fragments of confidential content. These details must be redacted or protected before sharing beyond authorized audiences. Secure repositories, access controls, and encryption and storage protect both the evidence and the individuals it references. A redacted screenshot should still preserve the field label and context, but obscure sensitive values. Balancing confidentiality with verifiability ensures evidence serves its purpose without introducing new risks. Security assurance should never endanger the very privacy it aims to defend. Maintaining chain of custody discipline ensures that evidence remains credible from creation to review. Every transfer, modification, or storage action must be documented so that auditors can trace the item's journey. Chain of custody is not just for law enforcement. It applies to any regulated assurance program. For instance, when assessors collect configuration data from production systems, they should record who performed the export, how the file was transmitted, and where it resides now. An unbroken chain of custody prevents tampering accusations and safeguards integrity, especially when multiple parties handle the same files over months or years. Over time, governance structures protect the entire evidence ecosystem. Governance defines who reviews evidence quality, who approves its use in assessments, and how long it must be retained. Retention schedules should balance regulatory requirements with storage and privacy constraints. Regular review cycles, perhaps quarterly, verify that evidence remains accessible, relevant, and compliant. Governance boards can also define escalation paths when evidence is missing or disputed. This structured oversight turns evidence management into an integrated part of the risk program rather than a side project triggered only during audits. In the end, building credible, reusable evidence is about discipline and design. Each artifact should tell the story of a control from intent to operation, anchored by traceable origins and clear sufficiency. When evidence is planned early, gathered cleanly, and governed consistently, it serves more than compliance. It becomes operational memory. Teams stop dreading audits because every answer is already in the record. The organization can show not only that it acted correctly, but that it can prove it, today or years later. That is what credibility looks like in practice, a living archive of truth built one verified record at a time. Thanks for listening. For more audio courses, daily newsletters, and more, please visit DailyCyber.News.